For more on the conversation, let's welcome in now Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde. Sir, welcome. Thanks for coming on today. Again, it's a big, busy day in Washington, which has become somewhat of a trend in the Trump administration. Could we start by your comments with Benjamin Netanyahu's presence and even the press conference that happened earlier this week with President Trump, the interest in the Gaza Strip from a U.S. perspective? Your thoughts there on what happens next?
Well, you know, President Trump is an amazing individual. He thinks outside the box in many, many areas. And, you know, what we've seen happen in Gaza over the last number of decades just hasn't been working. So I think it's time for a new solution. I think the president has put forward one that has merit to it. And I think that we'll just wait and see how it actually, you know, transpires. But I think the president has a pretty interesting idea that deserves some serious thought.
And it's floating, yeah, absolutely, and it's floating around the world, not just here, not just with local leaders, but it's interesting just how much interest that's come about, albeit negative or positive, it's there. Switching gears, Trump and his administration have made it very clear that they do want to shut down the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and a lot of wasteful spending done by the USAID was highlighted. Maybe you've seen this by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. For those that didn't, here's that moment.
$1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government.
And there's been more deeper dives even since this moment where they're finding more and more just wasteful spending, no other way to call it. And I wanted to put this out there that the Trump administration says that it is pulling almost all of USAID workers off the job and out of the field worldwide, even going on Truth Social talking about it, saying, quote, looks like billions of dollars have been stolen at USAID and other agencies, much of it going to the fake news media as a payoff for creating good stories about the Democrats. The left-wing rag known as Politico seems to have received $8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of them all, perhaps the biggest in history. The Democrats can't hide from this one. Too big, too dirty. Your thoughts on this? Remember, he's seeing some of these numbers and he's putting together some of these pieces and he's putting together some of the questions that he has. Do you have the same questions?
Well, it's almost unbelievable, everything that you're seeing. I mean, you can add $2 million to that for sex changes and LGBTQ activism in Guatemala. I mean, it never ends with USAID. It needs to be shut down. The money needs to be pulled back, as President Trump is doing. And, you know, when he told the American people that he was going to reduce the size, scope, and cost of government, then that's exactly what's happening. And you're seeing it live. You know, Make America Great Again, MAGA, also stands for Make Affordable Government Again. And he's doing that right there. So I applaud the president. I applaud DOJ and what they're doing. I need to, you know, it's great to see more of it.
There's a countdown on right now for federal employees that had been offered what's being described as a buyout. Right now, we've learned about 40,000 have already accepted that. They're going to get paid through September, but that only accounts for about 2% of the federal workforce of the 2 million who received the offer. Do you think more accept? And what's really the strategy behind these buyouts?
Well, I think, again, the president is all about reducing the size and scope of government. We have a bloated government that needs to be reduced in size. And so this is one way to do it. And I think it's a great way to do it. I think we need to do more of it. And the executive has tremendous authority to reduce the size and scope of government. Congress also has a part to play in this. And I think that that we're going to come on board in force with budget reconciliation to do that. So I'm looking forward to it, glad to be part of it, and support the president and his plans.
Yeah, again, meeting today later on with that. A lot to be discussed. We appreciate Congressman Andrew Clyde taking the time for us here on National Report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
You too.